Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salam everybody, my name is Saeed and this is Learn Persian. How to deal with plurals in Persian. So you know that in English the indicator for a plural is just a s. I mean usually with exceptions. It's like a student, right? Becomes students, right? And this is the way you actually show something is pluralized, right? It's more than one of that kind. Now, in Persian, there are several signs or indicators for plural, but the most important and also the most general one is ha. So you got, for example, Seeb, which is apple. I say again, Seeb, apple, Seeb, apple, Seeb, apple. Okay, and then you add a ha, this guy, right, to make it apples. Or you got medad. You remember that we had it, medad, pencil, right? And then you add ha to make medad ha, pencils. Okay, that's it. So that is the indicator. But now the question is, when you put this indicator in your sentence, I mean in front of your noun like sib or medad or whatsoever. I have some rules for you in this lesson. So, rule number one, when you're counting something, when you're actually reporting the number of that kind in your sentence, right? In spite of English, opposite to English, you won't use the sign, the plural indicator, which is ha. You won't use it in Persian. What do I mean? Look at this example. I have 2 apples. English, right? 2 apples. This guy, S, indicator of plural, exists when you are counting the object, which is apple in this case. But not in Persian. Not in Persian. So in Persian, you would say man do sib daram. If I say I do sib ha, it's incorrect. It doesn't sound very professional, okay? Man do sib daram. So cross over ha. Because we are counting it. We are reporting how many. Man do sib daram. Okay, so this is the right way to do that. Now, another example. They are 3 students. Students, we say. I mean, you say if you are an English native speaker or any other person who is familiar with English, 3 students, they are 3 students, right? But not in Persian. In Persian, when you are counting something and you're telling how many of them, you won't use the indicator of plural in Persian. Therefore, anha, they, okay, se, which is 3, دانش آموز. Remember that from previous videos. دانش آموز, again, دانش آموز is student. دانش آموز, this is دانش, okay, and آموز. دانش آموز together means student. Okay, آنها سه دانش آموز هستند. آنها سه دانش آموز, I'm sorry, هستند. Okay, now can I say آنها سه دانش آموزها هستند? Actually, no. It's not like both of them are correct. No, only the first sentence, above sentence, is correct. This is correct, and this is incorrect because of this. This makes it incorrect because you are counting them. You're counting them, 3 of them, right? So there is when you're counting something, you don't need to add the indicator. Indeed, you must not. All right, that's rule number 1. Let's change the slide and let's go to rule number 2, which is very important. It's not difficult, it just needs your attention. Okay, so when you're talking about stuff, everything which is countable, of course, because that's about plurals, there are 2 there could be only two cases, okay? That you mean that thing generally, as a general concept, as a general object, or you mean some specific examples of them. What do I mean by that? For example, sometimes you're talking about apples, right? And you say that you like them generally. It's not the apples you saw in that special fruit shop, the apples you saw in that special party, the apples which are in that special basket. No, you are not meaning any special apple or any special apples. No, you are meaning apples generally. In that case, there is some rule, which I'm just telling you in a second, and then sometimes you mean it specifically, like the apples that you just had, the apples which are on the table, the apples which all come from this farm, I don't know, right? These are specific examples. You're specifying your case. So if your case in your sentence is general, if you mean something generally, like of the type, right, this ha is unnecessary. You don't need to use ha. Sometimes it's okay to be there, but sometimes it doesn't even sound very good. So when you're talking about something generally, even if there are more than one of them, but still generally you're talking about a type, you're talking about them without any perceived limitation in that specific sentence, right? Then you drop ha normally. If not must, at least preferably, right? Okay, and now if you are talking about more than one thing, okay, specifically, then you need to keep ha, the indicator of plural. Now, it would be better understood by you if I make some examples, of course. Let's introduce some new vocabulary before I make the first example. So we got for خوشمزه, for what? Delicious or yummy. Could be formal or informal both. خوشمزه or yummy, right? For delicious or خوشمزه for yummy or delicious. I say again, خوشمزه. I'm going to repeat that a few times. خوشمزه, خوشمزه, خوشمزه. All right? خوشمزه. Understood? خوشمزه. Guys, last time. خوشمزه, which stands for delicious or yummy in Persian. Now, look at the example. Sometimes I'm totally a fan of, or generally a fan of apples. So I say, apples are delicious or خوشمزه. See, this is general case, obviously. I'm talking about all apples from, I don't know, those grown in Iran, grown in the United States, Europe, whatsoever, wheresoever, right? In that case, it is not, I'm sorry, this indicator, yeah. This is not a specific case. I'm meaning it generally. I'm not actually limiting my domain, right? In that case, apples are delicious. We are following this actually branch. We are talking about apples generally. So it would be what? سیب خوشمزه است. سیب خوشمزه است. Because we are talking about type. It's talking about type. It's not talking about numbers. Although in English you would say it's numbers, it's more than apples. You're a fan of apples generally, and it's more than, there are more than one apples in the world. So the plural indicator must be there. That's correct in some logic, but in some other logic, we actually we have taken as Persian speakers, we say no, we're talking about the type of apple. Like, apple, this material, right? This organic material is yummy, so it's not plural. You're talking about apples generally. So سیب خوشمزه است. Now look at the second example. Sometimes you say the or these apples are delicious. So you might be a general fan, a generic fan of apples, or you may not be. You really may dislike apples, generally speaking, but these ones actually have caught your eyes. You like this one specifically. You may or may not like apples generally, but you are liking these ones. Maybe the ones in the basket or the table near you. Maybe the ones coming from a specific farm. Maybe the ones I don't know, processed by some special person. Huh? What? So you're not meaning all apples. You are not meaning all apples. You are meaning these apples or those apples or the apples about which we are talking, right? In that case, you are being specific, which requires a ha in Persian. That would be, for example, sibha. I'm assuming that you are meaning they, not these, because these and those will be the next lesson. But there is no equivalence for that. You just need to understand it from the environments such as here. So sibha, when I say sibha, it sounds like that I'm meaning some sibs, some special sibs. And now you are not talking about type, you are talking about numbers. I mean, you're talking about a group of specific apples, and therefore please pay attention to the accordance of verb to the noun, because noun is plural. It's like they, huh? It's like on, huh? They, right? Although it's about object, it's not about animated things like humans. But it's anyway. What I mean is just pay attention, because this is plural. This is also plural anymore in spite of this one, which is singular form, right? Anyway, سیب‌ها خوشمزه هستند. These specific apples, or the apples we are talking about, are yummy. Now, I think I need to give you another example. Maybe next slide. Now, again, first I need to give you a new vocabulary. Before we switch to this slide, maybe I can, for example, your apples are delicious. See, this possessive pronouns basically is another way of a specialization, a specification actually. So again, سیب‌های تو خوشمزه هستند. Listen, here we are having what? Your apples. It's not all apples in the world. I don't care about all apples in the world. I'm talking about your apples, okay? They are, that's what I'm actually testifying. They are yummy apples. I don't know about other apples. I'm not making any comment at the moment about them. I'm talking about your apples. I'm specifying some apples from all apples in the world. So when I'm specifying in Persian, I use the indicator, when the plural indicator, which is ha. Now, what does this actually do? Do here? I told you several times, and I will give it a special lesson, right? But again, there are two vowels, sibha, okay, this a at the end of ha, and then sibha to. See, we got to, that is you or yours, not right, both of them. Now, and there is a here, sibha to, okay. It cannot be uttered very like peacefully, very easily, right? So in Persian we put a mediator, which is ye, okay, between this vowel a at the end of ha, okay, and this e, which is the connector between to and ha, okay, this e is connector. We put this ye, let me change the color. This ye is just for pronunciation. It helps for an easier pronunciation. So instead of sibha eto, see, two vowels, a little difficult. Sibha eto, we say sibha yeto, sibha yeto. Anyway, sibha yeto. Then this remember, most of the time, let's like 99% of the time, it's dropped. Okay, سیب‌های تو خوشمزه هستند. These specific apples are yummy, right? Now, next slide and next examples. But before we continue, if you want to have any private class with me, you can message me on Skype or send me an email. I would be happy to have a class with you to help you learn Persian from any level you are to any level you want. And the Skype account and email address are both in the description. And also don't forget to don't forget to subscribe and like. Anyway, zoo is, it's a little tricky, I know. I will repeat a few times, don't worry. Now, zoo, باغ وحش. God, again, باغ وحش. Listen carefully. باغ وحش. This one is باغ, باغ. There is a connector, an a connector, right? باغ وحش. This one, وحش. Again, باغ وحش, باغ وحش, باغ وحش. Okay, zoo. Zoo in English is باغ وحش in Persian. باغ وحش in Persian is zoo in English. Okay, one last time. باغ وحش. All right, now let's talk about wolves, right? Let's talk about wolves. There could be a case in which you want to say something like wolves are wild animals generally. So that would be the sentence. See, it's like a documentary maybe. گرگ وحشی است. And وحشی, guys, is wild. But this lesson is not about vocabulary. It's more about what? Grammar. گرگ وحشی است. But anyway, وحشی is wild. گرگ وحشی است. Can I say گرگ ها وحشی هستند? That's not incorrect. That's not incorrect. But again, we are talking about type of wolf, right? You can also say وحشی هستند. It's not incorrect, like I said in the beginning. It could be sometimes be okay, sometimes really doesn't sound very good, but here is, it does sound okay, but again, you can just drop ha. Anyway, گرگ وحشی است, because we're talking about the type. We're talking about wolves generally. Although, of course, this time it is okay. It's not incorrect to add the indicator, plural indicator here, right? But now, if I say, for example, the wolves, which, I don't know, maybe a few days ago we saw in the zoo, are cute. Now, this time, we are talking about some specific wolves which are in the zoo. I mean, it's a little controversial whether it's basically a good idea to confine animals in the zoo or somewhere, which I can say I kind of support that idea. I don't know, although there are some opposite ideas saying that the ones in the zoo are experiencing a higher level of extra care, and that is kind of, that evens things out. I just don't know, but let's just assume that some person has seen some wolves in the zoo anyway, and he's talking about them, saying they were cute. And maybe you want to know, cute in Persian is just, indeed, it's a word that is used in Persian too, cute, although it's unoriginal, obviously, therefore avoid that in formal writings or speakings, but it is known, cute. Okay, anyway, now we are talking about some specific wolves, the ones in the zoo. So گرگ‌های ها is good here, it's necessary here. گرگ‌های باغ وحش, remember, باغ وحش is zoo. And this there is a connector a between, because we are talking about, we are not talking about zoo per se, we're talking about wolves in the zoo. or vowels of the zoo. Therefore, the connector a is necessary here. And again, there are two vowels, one after the other, a and e, but we put this mediator ye, this guy here, in order to avoid difficult sounding, right? So گرگ‌های باغ وحش cute هستند. گرگ‌های باغ وحش cute هستند. And again, pay attention when there is plural form ha at this side. Okay, there is plural form of verb at this side too. Although you might ask that why, therefore here this does not follow. Actually, for example, this is plural هستند, right? But this is دانش آموز. Well, don't get it wrong. This هستند actually refers to what? To آنها. Yes, they آنها are students. I know. I'm not talking about concepts or meanings. I'm talking about grammatical rules. So هستند does actually accord the subject, which is آنها here, not the students. I mean, grammatically speaking, right? So anyway, back to our current slide. گرگ‌های باغ وحش cute هستند, and that's it. I'm giving you some this video is getting a little long. I'm so sorry. I prefer to actually wrap up my videos in shorter time intervals, but or maybe this is better to be avoided. I wanted to give you some more example, but that's fine. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel. If you have any question, you can actually make comments. It's just fine. And don't also forget to send me a message on Skype or send me an email if you want to have any class with me. See you in the next video.